this is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video inside of Hermitcraft Season Clockwork, where we read another chapter, well, the final chapter in this series for now. Of course, I can always write more in the future, but right now I am planning to take a little bit of a break because school's starting up in a month and there's not many other ideas. Look, I do have ideas, but they're not fleshed out enough to do a story on them. And besides, I need to pick a perspective, and I kind of want to try something new. But I gotta get to know a little bit more of the hermits first before I'm comfortable with writing perspective on them. It's a thing. If you haven't read any of the other chapters yet, be sure you do so, because spoilers, things happen. People go through things. And yeah, chapter 7 is probably one of the most interesting ones I had to write. Yeah. I also we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let's get started. Chapter 7. Xisuma watched warily as the men approached them, the third man still blocking the way out of the room. The only exit was a window, though he wasn't sure how they'd be able to distract the men long enough to use it and get out of there safely as a group. "What exactly do you want from us?" Xisuma asked the lead man simply. "I thought it would be pretty easy to understand, seeing as Mr. A doesn't necessarily always keep his plans a secret," the man mused, with a chuckle. "You and your fellow hermits have gotten away from him once before. He can't just let that happen. So you want us to surrender to make it easy for you?" Xisuma asked, raising an eyebrow as he watched the other three eyeing the other man nervously. "We still technically outnumber you in this room. All we have, as well as backup on the way, as I've said before. We'll be long gone before they arrive," the man said firmly. "Doubtful," the tuber said boldly. "You guys failed as soon as I let my friends out." He laughed. "Just because we're outnumbered doesn't mean that we're weak. We're just extra persistent. Now surrender or we'll make sure you pay." "Why can't we just talk it out peacefully?" Shem asked, hopefully. Two were glancing over at her direction for a split moment. "It's far past that point, YouTuber," the man snapped. "I also hear you and your little friend there have been causing a bit of trouble not too long ago." "You have no business in knowing that," Pearl said defiantly. "You know we won't give up that easily, especially knowing what you're capable of." "You only know the bare minimum," the man chuckled. "You don't know how far our methods of pain and suffering can go. You'll never know." Before the man could say anything, he was suddenly attacked from behind by some sort of invisible force. As Xisuma looked back, it was like green had disappeared. He figured as much, seeing as he hadn't heard from him in a little bit. The man grunted in frustration as he tossed the individual off him as he heard rolling on the floor at a groan of surprise. "That was uncalled for," the man snapped as he got to his feet. Looking around to try to find his attacker, he thrust his foot in the air, kicking at nothing. As a disembodied chuckle filled the room. I just love that invisibility potion trick. "Keep doing what you're doing. I have an idea," Xisuma said to the room as he went for the window, opening his ear in a grunt of pain. I looked back to see the second man sprawled on the floor as he tried to stop him, but one of the girls had tripped him over, landing face first onto the floor. "There's some spare wings you can borrow in the chest," he told the girls, pointing it. Both Gem and Pearl ran for it, taking out 2 pairs of elytras and donning them on. He glanced over to where the first man was struggling against an invisible Korean, about to call out, when the third man finally stepped into the room. "Go out that window, we will shoot you down," the man warned, as the second man got to his feet. As another howl of frustration gave him the first man. "Well, that's a challenge I'm willing to take," the YouTuber stated. But maybe we don't have to go down that route. Appears we do, the second man said sourly, Green suddenly appearing beside him as he went to lunge at him. No. At him. Young man leapt out of the way and ran over to the window, quickly putting back on his wings, having taken them off when he had gone invisible. Honestly, I did give you a lot of chances, the YouTuber offered. But it's our time to go. He nodded over at the others, watching Green climb onto the windowsill, launching himself into the sky as he glided safely to the ground. Pearl went after him, while Jem nervously looked back for one moment before taking off as well. Xisuma waited for one long moment as the men charged at him before jumping out the window himself. Flying away from the scene and seeing their backup arrive just in time below, he landed safely to the ground along with Pearl and Jem, being greeted by friends and the cause as he glanced back, seeing the men throw something he couldn't see before disappearing completely. For now, they were in the clear. A few hours had passed since everything had returned relatively back to normal. Everyone was together once more at the meeting hall, which was now back to its original state, as many things were. Xisuma could see many people were just happy as well as exhausted over what had occurred in the last couple of days, as he was filled in about the attack that he'd missed out on. Luckily, no one was badly harmed in any way, which he appreciated. He could hear the small talk between friends as they looked around the room until he spotted Jem, Pearl, False, and Stress talking with each other in one corner before meeting his eyes with someone he hadn't seen in a few days. His escort approached him slowly, his expression plain and straightforward. No hint of anger in his slightest. I see you brought some new people, the man said matter-of-factly. Yeah, it's not necessarily safe for them to return back home now, seeing as their escort no longer can assist them, the YouTuber admitted. The man didn't clarify what happened to him, but I don't think it was a happy one. The man replied with a nod. I suppose we can make arrangements for them to stay for as long as they like. If everyone, including them, are okay with it, then yeah, I don't see a problem with that, the YouTuber replied. The man nodded in response. We also need to find someone more suitable for Green as well, seeing as Devin isn't so keen on leaving him alone after what happened today. Xisuma nodded his head once more. I'm sure we can make it work, right? Definitely, the man replied with a smile. Seems to me they are already settling well. Yeah, Xisuma stated as he walked across the room to enter the conversation. Hello, X, Paul said cheerfully with a wave. Hey, the YouTuber said meekly. Anyways, I was wondering whether or not I could speak with both Jem and Pearl for a moment. Yeah, sure. False nodded as she gestured for Stress to step aside for a moment. Xisuma nodded in gratitude and quickly relayed what his escort had offered to them. I mean, it's tempting, Pearl admitted. It's ultimately your choice. Otherwise, the cause will most likely relocate you to elsewhere, the YouTuber said. Kind of like it here, Jem admitted happily. We're safe here, we've made friends here, and that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd have to agree, if everyone else is cool with it, Pearl said with a smile. Then I suppose that works out for everyone, Xisuma replied. There's still some things that need to happen here, but you're more than welcome to spend a few nights with one of the hermits here until you can set up a place for yourself, as well as your own personal escort, or protector, as you could say. That's great, Jem said with a sad smile. So it's sad no one can't be with us. I know, Xisuma nodded. But I'm sure he'd be glad to know you're both safe. Yeah. Pearl nodded solemnly. Thanks for the help, Max. Xisuma smiled once again. I'll see you two soon then. He bid them farewell as he walked to the other side of the room, talking to a few members of the cause as they devised a course of action as to what would happen next. He no doubt they'd need to prepare for an eventual attack to come. Mistray's men wouldn't stop until they got what they wanted, or were wiped out entirely. Xisuma would do whatever he could to make sure that nothing more would happen to the hermits to the best of his ability, knowing they had to be able to trust in the aid of the cause a little bit to make sure it was reasonably possible. They were a team, they would be unstoppable, unbeatable, or at least unrelenting, just as their enemies were. Persistent. Yeah, you know what this means. This is the end. For now. Of course there's going to be more, I would hope there would be more. This is the end for now. I hope you guys enjoyed that little 3-story thing. And yeah, some of them were longer than others. Basically, with me not having to just explain everything because it's already explained in the first story, and a lot more is explained in the other books, and yeah, prefaces. So I don't necessarily take ideas from past or current Hermitcraft seasons because they're not really my ideas. I try to do something a little bit more creative. Of course, I can make little references, just as Easter eggs, but they don't exist. This is an alternate universe version where, yeah, Mr. A's men have taken over. Of course, yeah, that's just that. That's when Mr. A's men exist. When they all exist. Mr. A, revenge story, all that lovely stuff. The same with all the other stories that I've done, the lovely world ones, and the lovely world we see in videos is a different version of it than what I have written, which is absolutely fine, because that's fine. It's just a lot of catching up to do, because, some things have happened, and I want to at least catch it up in a unique way, so it's not going to be just relaying everything. I'm going to explain it when that comes out, so... And I've already explained it before. I might as well just end the episode here, and just... I just find action scenes... I try to find creative ways to get the hermits to win. They don't have to do combat sort of stuff. Whereas other places, of course, combat is kind of a focus, but here, most of these people aren't that great at PvP, so they have to think outside the box. And in some ways, it's kind of fun. It's a fun challenge. I like it. Of course, the invisibility potion trick was already done before, but it was already done before, but I just did a different spin on it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Oh, and remember, all the hermits are great.